You finish the tutorial and everything works just like the project should, and it does in the video. And for a few seconds it feels really good. You feel capable, productive, and like you're finally getting somewhere. And then you close the video, open a new project, and the screen feels a bit different now. There's no guide that can help you, and you have seen how things are done. You remember the pieces, the patterns, certain functions, and certain ideas. But nothing connects. You don't know what the first real decision is supposed to be. And that's a moment where people are starting to doubt themselves. They assume something is wrong with them, like missing talent, discipline, or just a core fundamental understanding that everyone else seems to have. That's not exactly what is happening. What is happening is that you have been training inside an environment that simulates perfect conditions, that are never meant to produce an independent developer. Most tutorials are designed that way. They are designed to make you succeed. They are structured, edited, and optimized to be as clear as possible. Every step just flows into the next one. And that's the problem. You never really truly lost. You were never unsure where to move or which move to make next. And early on that's really helpful. You need that exposure to the engine, you need the vocabulary, and you need to see what is possible inside the engines. But there's this hidden trade-off that you make. Real development doesn't look like that, because when you really develop, it's uncertain. It starts with incomplete understanding, with vague goals, and with systems you can't fully grasp yet. And slowly, through wrong turns and broken attempts, you can finally become clear in how development works. Tutorials remove that entire phase. They don't teach you how to navigate your own problems. They just teach you how to recognize solutions after someone else has already solved them for you. So without realizing it, you're not practicing any decision making. You're just practicing following step-by-step instructions like an IKEA manual. And that's the point where people end up getting stuck. Not because the tutorials are bad, but because they teach the wrong habit. You follow along, the code works, and you get a small hit of satisfaction. It feels like progress, and your brain loves that feeling, so it's looking for it again. And when you build something slightly different and hit a wall, that instinct isn't there to just sit with the problem. It's to search for another video, another explanation, another path where the uncertainty has been removed for you. And over time, that decision becomes automatic. And the scary part is that it feels productive. Your project folder fills up really quick, your watch history grows, and your confidence rises. But only as long as someone else is holding the map for you. And that's usually what people call tutorial hell, but that misses the point. It's not hell because you're failing, it's hell because you're succeeding at the wrong thing. You're getting very good at following solved paths, which isn't a bad thing in and of itself, and that brings us to why this matters more than ever. AI is getting extremely good at copying known patterns. It's happening right now, and if your main skill is recognizing an existing solution and reproducing it inside a familiar structure, you're completely redirecting your focus. That systems can already do that instantly, endlessly, and without any fatigue or failure. And tutorial-based learning trains that behavior perfectly. Replication, pattern matching, producing correct looking result with known inputs. And if that's the bulk of your skill set, you're not preparing for the future of development. You're training for a role that is actively disappearing right now. What we need is people that think for themselves. And if that way of thinking clicks for you, if you care more about understanding systems than copying solutions, I focus on how things actually work and why they break. So if that's useful for me, you know where the subscribe button is. Companies don't hire people because they have seen the right tutorial. They hire people who can look at a blank project and ask the good questions, the ones that we need. Someone who can get stuck and not panic, someone who doesn't freeze at the moment a structure disappears. And that's the point where a portfolio of tutorials doesn't prove anything, it doesn't prove competence, it just proves exposure to a small portion. One small, awkward project that clearly required more struggle proves way more because it shows the only thing that really matters in the long term right now. The ability to reason where there isn't any script. And that's the skill tutorials really protect you from developing. So how do you actually escape this? You cannot escape it by just quitting tutorials or trying harder. You can escape by changing the role. Right now, tutorials are the path, but they need to become just a reference for you. The real learning has to come from building something that doesn't already have an answer. So the first step isn't that dramatic. You don't need to start from a blank screen. You can just go back to the last project you finished, the one that works from the tutorial, and change it. Just one thing the tutorial never covered. Something small, something maybe annoying, and that forces you to read the code instead of copying it, to trace the logic back and to ask questions like, why is this here? Why does this break if I move this? And those moments feel really annoying and inefficient, but that's the actual learning portion. Tutorials skip these moments and you have to reintroduce them on your own. And eventually you will face your blank project again, and that's where most people sabotage themselves. They try to build something impressive, a full game, a complete app, a polished system, and then everything falls apart. They assume they're not ready, and the problem isn't the readiness, it's just scale. Real progress comes from really small, even embarrassing small wins. It's not an inventory system, it can be just an array, printing it, and then one interaction. And each step feels slow, but they teach you how systems grow, how bugs are created by your own decisions and not by missing instructions. And that's how real good products and projects are built. Not in just one clean run, but through accumulation of all that is wrong with your code. And yes, you will get stuck. And that's not a sign that you're failing. It's the first sign you're finally doing something right. Something that the tutorials were shielding you from. And a good step in this is to think of errors not as failures but as information. Learning how to search precisely, how to search documentation, how to sit with a problem long enough to understand it. Those aren't the side skills in development nowadays. They are the whole job. Nobody feels productive while staring at an error message for 30 minutes, but the 30 minutes teach you more than copying a solution. Tutorials still have a place, just not as a route. There's something you consult when hitting a specific wall, and not something you walk from start to finish. You take the idea, you adapt it, and you fit it inside your own structure. That shift from following to pull information on demand is where your independence as a developer really starts. At some point, something subtly changes. You open a new project and it feels uncomfortable but not stuck. You don't know exactly what to do, but you start to figure things out. And that's when you know you have escaped. Not because you know everything, but because you're no longer afraid of not knowing things. And what I think we are missing nowadays is remembering that programming was never about memorizing any solutions. It's about staying inside uncertain moments long enough to find a solution. So close the video, open the editor and build something small, break it and then fix it. That's not your detour. That's learning. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next one.